right. Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. So here we have Mr. Byju Joseph, Chief Technology Officer at Future Generali India Life Insurance, and he has a presentation ready, all set to go on the topic of modernizing customer onboarding with video experiences. So Byju, I think you are all set to go. You can go ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will start with pre-COVID. How we used to do onboarding. During the pre-COVID sessions, we saw pandemic actually has forced social distancing and is actually compelling us to live with minimal, actually human contacts with customers. So insurance industry actually remains no exception to this particular situations. And if you look at the slide, the pre-COVID digital onboarding was always there, but the adoption was being a driving factor by so many people, channel heads to the management has been key driver of KPI to increase the adoptions. So digital customer onboarding and video KYC was actually no longer just an option, but it became a necessary to ensure that the customer due diligence and is done and to perform actually the customer KYC remotely, which actually reduce the risk of contaminations, resilience, and any pandemic situations, and the speed of onboarding are all our distinct advantages. In fact, so today's advanced or emerging technologies allows us to actually set up a front to back straight through processing without actually a human intervention. If you look at pre-COVID, the scenarios, yeah, it was digital. Form filling used to happen 60% on digital environment, rest of them physical. Things was okay. KYC used to be a document collection process, whether it is through phone exchange, WhatsApp exchange, to many other scenarios. Document submission used to be digital but scanned copies, and then an outbound or inbound call verification to actually identify customers and do a human visual checks on all the documents whether it is everything is perfect, and then you finally issue the contract. These were the pre-COVID scenarios. So the remote interactions actually become a necessary, and at the same time, actually this actually represented, or maybe it's given us a lot of opportunity for us to improve the everything in the backend, become a front end technologies to ensure that customer gets real time decisions, or an assisted distributor gets a real time assisted decision faster. So what are the rationales? So in the digital remote sales capabilities, social distancing due to COVID-19 actually enforced us to change many things. We had customer experience which is phygital in nature. I mean, it was all personal sales, interactive, human touch based, and all this was as far as going into a very structured or unstructured way of collecting informations, and decision used to be at the back end, and somebody actually decide and tell customer, okay, you are now the customers. So that area, so of improvements were many during this pandemic. Really people got together and ensured we start giving the capability to and the tools to our sales hands. So basically this actually resulted into major improvements in customer onboarding using videos in our organizations, extending the OTP verification to actually to ensure signs, physical signs are avoided, also digital signatures as a complementary options, and new way of premium collection started with all UPI became exploded, so there are a lot of other new way of collecting payments easily. Assisted, the virtual assistant is become part and parcel of the customer journey, or an assisted mobile journey. Infused OCR to AI to actually dematerialize the the entire routing of documents within the backend operations. So these were, I mean, it could have been done. It was going slow, but this actually expedited this period of March to now. It expedited the entire journey of simplifying this for our sales team. Now, what are the acceleration happened? The continuous improvement in digital policies ratio increased to 96 percentage from earlier our 60 percentage when pre-COVID areas without having any adoption drive. Second, operational excellence is all our digital agents have been onboarded digitally and fully enabled to enable them sell very same time, and 100 percentage sales force is covered that way, whether it is employee, distributor, or insurance managers. The fact that during the lockdown, customers preferred to interact with our distributors through digital medium because of the reasons which we all know, right? So, what was the our objective of putting all this into a video experience was sustain and increase the agent productivity during this particular time, because naturally it was a shock for them to see how do I cope up with the new methods, right? So it was, we have to make it simple. We have to make the adoption, the trainings, and infusing it, simplifying it. All this will become our remote selling objective, not just to digitize and push the app or web journey to them in a traditional way. So the seamless journey should take place from engaging with the customer to issuance of the policy in the entire journey, whatever time it takes, but that should cover the sending invite to customers to interact until the policy issuance it covers. Compared to, if you look at my first slide, we always used to start filling the form or doing the illustrations, collecting premium and issuing it. So that was a drastic change for us. So and providing continuous assessment in the distribution network capabilities, and in remote areas where they used to only have mobile connectivities of 3G, how my application should work in a offline online in a hybrid environment. So the design was carefully done to ensure that app also work offline, but whenever is a control checks required, they must come in online. So these these are all those, and aspects are being covered during this particular period of 6 to 7 months. So what exactly, in nutshell, our digital remote capabilities all include? So in the last few years, digitization has been the key for us. When we top up the advanced technologies, the possibilities actually we found it as limitless. So we wanted to gather the right and minimal data information from customer in the form of input, and ensure that it is very convenient to our customers and the distributors. So if you look at the slide, so we ensure that end-to-end capabilities are done in a one single platform, and we have an option to switch on switch off. The modularity has been given based on the distribution arrangement, and it should be one click and start and then end. We wanted to ensure that the existing customer or our third party customers are coming in, everything should be pre-filled so that they have a very simplified journey, and they will customer feel excited to be engage with customer throughout the journey. And the pre-approved offers, which is actually really from the back end, our analytical teams ensure that pre-approved offers are for our existing customers are also pushed to the front end. See, what the invitation to email or any other mediums or instant messages or social platform has been incorporated. The video engagement, start with video engagement, identifying the compliance aspects, okay, AML checks or FATCA, all of those checks. Document sharing, easy document sharing options are being given. Getting signatures made it very easy, and the digital payment, sharing digital payment to WhatsApp, and they can invoke WhatsApp link to click the payment. So in essentially, all these steps were taken into one particular thing. So we call it as scheduling implementation to finalizing the contract, or issuing the contract in single platform. So what are the essential components which is gone into building this tool? So this is my favorite subjects in terms of designing the entire backbone. So earlier, this all used to be a human dependent task, which actually we brought it into an API framework, and we call it as customer onboarding ecosystem. So this has multiple technology, emerging technology components. So first one, we start the customer interaction with face identifications, liveness checks, and matching those customer in the existing DB on a photo matching basis. So holistic next generation digital onboarding process incorporates some unique capabilities. The very few examples are actually we use OCR, data capturing, image forensics, facial recognitions, as you see on the slide, and real-time compliance check. That was one of the important, that we do real-time open API checks on AMLs, compliance, and UN sanctions, and forgery check on documents which is submitted, and digital signature matchings. So most importantly, these need to adhere to the compliance in individual liveness checks and end-to-end automated digital straight-through processing, we call it as. So we use mix of DL, MLs, and algorithms to orchestrate this in a simplified manner. So AI-driven, we call it AI-driven digital customer onboarding. Actually, this ecosystem focus on key factors which addresses reduction in cost, and it enhances the speed of the customer onboarding in an integrated fashion. So the open APIs which we use are really real-time collaboration using customer relevant data in a different sources such as credit bureau and many more, actually in seamless across third party using open API, get those data, enable, actually goes through a risk modeling tool, risk scoring happens, and based on the risk score the decision is done on real time basis. So this actually eliminate the time spent to enhance due diligence, which used to be earlier on a multiple environments. So which actually offers real time very faster process. And we leverage around 15 different open API from different partners and fetching these data, and actually really this helped us in enhancing the fraud preventions later at the claims time. So machine learning and deep learning actually enables the cross verifications of the customer data, documents, and also validate the right ownership in documents. We actually look at the image forensics. So real-time customer photograph is captured in the first beginning itself using the face ID. Those have been validated against the document, and which and data the photos comes from other or through video. All these are matched to ensure a human touchless, basically decisions are being given to human for final closure of the informations. So we also added eKYC, both OTP and video based KYC to the same platform. So how does that help? The demand for eKYC actually increased during this pandemic, and suddenly due to this particular situations where you can't exchange informations in a offline manner, lot of threats around exchanging informations of other copies, etc, etc, etc. So we wanted to ensure that the KYC part is done in three simple steps. So the real-time compliance check is also happened along with that. We introduced a real-time AML along with KYC, so that's actually helped reducing the onboarding time as well. So how does actually the AI decisioning finally happens in this? So digital customer onboarding actually implemented a next generation, AI based logics. So it has AI, ML, of course, and NLPs in place where customer speaks something on the video that has been converted into text and then analyzed and then given a decisions to the underwriters for a final verifications for anything else. These algorithms are written with a different 18 different APIs. We use Microsoft cognitive technologies to you know as an API to ensure this orchestrations and trainings and learnings have been incorporated. So I talked about digital assistant being part of the entire customer and assisted journey. So chatbots and the conversational AI has actually evolved to this stage today. So we were just normal, response mechanisms earlier. Now we context based. So let's say a customer is in a particular screen or a assisted distributor is on a one particular screen, and any contents or information collected on that screen will be you know filtered rightly to respond to the customer instead of having a global syntax based communications or a pre configured if then loop communications. So we have to handle many exceptions and many trainings and weeks and months of training and learnings to ensure these ecosystems have been built. It's not built overnight. It took 7 to 8 months to build entire ecosystems before we went into real time handling, giving to the field team to actually use it. And I just take you through some of the screens so that you'll get a glimpse of it. This is the first screen wherein customer comes in after yeah, after the initial invitations and all those agreed times and everything. When customer comes in, he's agreed to buy a policy. He comes and does the liveness check first. This is the first and foremost checks. Once liveness check is over, then he'll move to the next screen wherein we will be able to identify or initiate either of this or both option video KYC or an OTP based online real time Aadhaar verifications screen. So second step is this is where actually the final recording and customer has to say something which is depicted before you start and their journey on video. Customer start speaking and whatever he speaks is being converted into text real time in the backend. So this is recorder. Customer can re-record, customer can replay, look at how exactly the recording happens. All these have been facilities have been given to the same screen. So the moment if you take an e-route, OTP based authentication route, so other details are fetched. All these photos and the details are come into the same time, same screen. The photos is used to do image verifications with all the photos collected in liveness checks or any other means or existing records. Same time, these other informations is pulled out from UIDI, and we allow customer to edit any addresses if from communication address perspective, not KYC perspective. So you can change it, and then that would be authenticated through OTP and the in a biometrics phase, and then finalized at this stage. So this stage is the second step where we actually verify the customer details real time, either through video or through other. Third step is where in case other authentications is not a possible scenario, we allow customer to upload documents, and there are many all the documents upload possible based on the product and the rule scenarios. All document will be asked here. So identification proof to address proof to even PAN card, anything, financial details, all this can be uploaded. The moment it is uploaded, the image conversions using OCRs, and then analytics happens on that. Fraudulent checks on the documents have been done in the background to ensure that document is original, not forged. All those checks have been happening at this particular submit button of the document. After the document, finally a consent declarations happens with the customer. Customer will agree, and once they agree, really the submission happens, and then decisioning AI will take place, risk scoring take place, and then the proposal form, and everything will get go to customers and to the archivals. So in nutshell, this is looks easy, but very important aspects of this is the limitation of digital onboarding. I call it as, there are many limitations. We found during the last 6 to 7 months of experience, the quality of data is primary important. We have open API, but the quality of data which comes through API is, you need a lot of desire, from the especially from third parties. Uh, so those is important. It's a continuous learning. The data get enriched, and then you see the real result. The limitation of this is a very big limitation. So another area where we found out is having data, okay, and number of resources. All this is doesn't solve the purpose. An effective wrangling process must be in place in the organization to ensure smoothen them, and especially when your data grows exponentially with a lot of servicing transactions, onboarding transactions, all comes in place. We need to make ensure that that is cleaned, that is wrangled properly, and to actually have a minimum data loss, during the entire process in between. So other areas, very important area which I would say is customer experience. Since we are working and tied up many APIs, and we put it into the front end, you need to have the real-time monitoring of all services, its uptimes and downtimes and alternatives and plan B is in place. Customer experience is not UI. Customer experience is about any simple outages happens during their engagement with the customer. Both the distributor as well as customer actually you know uh, feel very bad about it. So we need to ensure that our backend APIs are orchestrated, tied, wired very well, and monitored well 24/7. So customer experience is the key. Therefore, seamless transition of user navigations, the omnichannel experience, leave from mobile to web, web to mobile, or all those options must be, it is given today, and easy to and even if error happens, how do you switch over, how do you come across is very important. Like I said, 27/7 operations behind is necessary to ensure that give a customer good experience. And I would say training time, because we build processes and we deploy processes, but before deploying, ensure, because AI and ML need more qualitative data to ensure that right outcomes in terms, especially on the risk scoring and you know image recognitions and classifications of also processing OCR. OCRs many times can go wrong. So you need to ensure that your data actually plays there well to ensure give right output. And one is the process maturity within the organization, and at the back end, we are fully, the process must be matured to handle any situations, and with a very lean, a simple way, as far as possible, touchless in automated manner to expose that to the front line. That's it from me. Thank you so much for sharing and giving me this particular platform. I hope I am able to share my uh, simple customer onboarding experiences and fully done through video. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Baiju. Thank you for enlightening us on that topic, and thank you for joining as well, and thank you for being making time for us.